All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from the Red Bull Ring. Giancarlo and Wessel Stevens on the front row. Adam Barker, Simon Zierk have the second row. Mike Dolling and Yannick Gunther currently have the third row. Rudolph Gunther and Mike Marshall on the fourth row. Ryan McDaniel and Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel rounding out the top 10. Dick Earhart and Harry Volsmere round out the field here this morning. Off tracks will be a big issue for the drivers here this morning. Track limits were a problem throughout practice. These drivers are going to be pushing it to the limit and may very well see quite a few off tracks and potentially in race 2 a few penalties. Just waiting on a couple more drivers to take to the grid here. And it does not look like Harry Volsmere or the rookie Dirk Earhart will take to the grid. And the field is rolling just a few turns away from the green flag. That first couple of turns here at Red Bull Ring are very, very sharp, very aggressive turns. We tend to see a lot of excitement through there, expecting very much the same here this morning. And here we go. Giancarlo fires and is away. Green flag is in the air at Red Bull Ring. Giancarlo makes it through turn 1 by himself. A lot of side by side. Everybody makes it through clean. Heading down toward turn 2, or up toward turn 2 rather. A battle on for second place as Wessel Stevens trying to clear Barker. He finally does. Mike Dolling has moved up into fourth, getting past Simon Zierk. But Simon looks down to the inside. He's got the nose in. It's gonna be a fight. Simon has that outside line, a little dab of brake. Still even, but Dolling pulls ahead. And here comes Yannick Gunther, Yannick still in the Team Gunther Porsche. However, Rudolph back in the McLaren today. Out of that final turn, and it does look like Giancarlo will lead lap 1, followed by Wessel Stevens, Adam Barker, Simon Zierk, and Mike Dolling. Wow, look at the run the Porsche gets out of turn 1, and they are 3 wide. Rudolph all the way into the grass to get past his son. Oh, Rudolph goes across the turn. Simon is around. A bunch of chaos from 5th on back. Rudolph Gunther, Simon Zierk, both involved. Let's take a look at this from the blimp. Here's Rudolph coming into that second turn. Oh, he checks up. Yannick just gets into his bumper, sends him across. Quickly recovers the car. In the midst of that, Simon Zierk was just ahead. However, they got to him quicker. Dolan gets into his bumper. And he has problems getting the car going. He towed it to pit road. So Simon Zierk already on pit road in race 1. Meanwhile, as they battle, Giancarlo is pulled out. And holy cow. Giancarlo already has a 2-second lead over Wessel Stevens. And Adam Barker closing in on Wessel for second. Yannick Gunther back and forth. Mike Doling in 5th. Mike Marshall has snuck his way up into 6th. Rudolph right behind in 7th. As Mike Doling shoots down to the inside. Couldn't complete the pass. Hey, good morning, Tina. Mike Marshall has had a problem back behind. Looking down again from the blimp. There's Mike in the red Corvette. Just goes through that left-hander and the back end steps out. That part of the track is a bit on the slick side. Simon Zierk is back out on track. Ryan McDaniel now up into 7th place, having gotten past Mike Marshall and Nicole Kriesel. That very brightly covered McLaren working rather well this morning. However, Rudolph Gunther is about 7 seconds ahead in 6th. Mike Doling in 5th. Yannick currently in 4th. Adam Barker in 3rd, still right there with Wessel Stevens in 2nd. Giancarlo continues to lead, having set the fastest lap last time by. Mike Doling, the Minister of Defense, still holds on to 5th. Rudolph back behind, trying to pull back up to him. Giancarlo's lead continuing to grow, 2.5 seconds now over Wessel. Adam Barker right on Wessel's bumper. They have a 9-second gap back to Yannick and Mike Doling. And don't forget, going into race 2, the top 7 will invert. Right now, that would put Ryan McDaniel starting out front. However, Mike Marshall, after his earlier incident, is closing back in on Ryan. The Conliff Esports Chevy on the attack. This track definitely seems to favor the McLarens. Only 6 of the 7 McLarens started the race. All 5 of those are in the top 6. 6 of them in the top 10. Mike Marshall has moved up into 7th. Ryan McDaniel, maybe he is going to pit road. Let's see what happened. Oh, looks like, let's take a look from overhead. Ryan goes a bit wide. Oh, he gets into the grass coming out of that final turn and finds the wall. See if we can see what brought him into pit road. There he goes down the front straightaway, headed for turn 1. Already that left side damage looks like he just pulled it off. The car appears to have been broken. Giancarlo continuing to lead, continuing to extend that lead. He has the fastest lap. Last time by 1:30.08. Wessel still in 2nd. Barker still right with him in 3rd. Yannick in 4th has put some space between him and Doling in 5th. Rudolph Gunther in 6th, losing ground ahead. Oh, Ryan McDaniel had technical difficulties. His screen went black. Hopefully the issue will be resolved and we see him back on track for race 2. That now puts Mike Marshall into 7th place. That will put him on the pole for race 2 if he holds that position. Nicole, that's what she said, Kriesel, now in 8th. Simon Zierk up to 9th. Meanwhile, Giancarlo continuing to extend his lead over Barker and Wessel. Wessel has definitely made himself known this season, only doing 4 races so far. He got a win at Interlagos and has had multiple podium finishes, putting him in 7th in points, just 2 points behind Max Gunther. He'll actually move to 6th after this race. Wessel may very well be a championship contender next season. Turn 2 here is extremely sharp. Drivers have to be careful. The sausages on the outside of that turn can really upset a car and cause some big problems. Ryan McDaniel has gotten back out on track. However, he drops back into 10th place. He is 13.5 seconds behind Simon. Giancarlo continuing to pull away his lead almost 4 seconds. The battle is still on for second, and Dowling is starting to reel in 4th place Yannick. Rudolph Gunther in 6th, 7 seconds back from Dowling. He is closing in though, and Simon Zierk is back on pit road. This is definitely an unexpected stop here this morning. Ryan has moved back up into 9th place. Does appear Simon may be done in race 1. Wessel Stevens, Adam Barker, 2nd and 3rd. Adam has made no real move to attack yet. He is flashing his lights at Wessel, trying to distract him. And here we go. Adam now looks for the move to the outside of turn 2. Side by side through turn 2, Wessel gets the better run out for the moment. Wessel pulls back up into 2nd. Barker right on his bumper. A drag race down the hill. Barker trying to stay even with Wessel. Into the left-hander. Barker has the advantage here for a moment. Oh, almost had some contact here. Wessel keeps his foot down a little bit longer and holds on to 2nd place. While they battle, Giancarlo sets a fastest lap and continues to extend his lead, now 6.6 seconds over Wessel. Giancarlo goes around Nicole, putting her a lap down. Nicole having a great run, up to 8th so far this morning. Giancarlo just continues to set fast laps and walk away. Adam trying to go wide there, carry as much momentum as possible. Adam currently has the highest number of off tracks of any driver in the field, 10 times so far. That second place battle now pulling up behind Nicole. Oh no, Wessel gets into Nicole. Adam able to take advantage, shoots by to take second. Taking another look at this one, there is Adam closing in on Wessel. Wessel did not realize Nicole needed to brake a little bit earlier. Adam saw it coming, shot to the inside, and moves into second place. Meanwhile, Giancarlo just continues to pull away here at Red Bull Ring. The white flag is out one more time around for Giancarlo. Adam Barker in second. Wessel now in third. Does have a little damage on the nose of that car after the impact with Nicole. Yannick Gunther in fourth. Mike Dolling in fifth. As Wessel tries to close back up. Mike Marshall still holding on to seventh place. Looks like he will start race 2 from the pole. Giancarlo has cleared lap traffic. Giancarlo now has smooth sailing. One more turn. And out of that final turn, Giancarlo gets the first, wins race 1 at Red Bull Ring. And he takes flight as Adam Barker takes second. Wessel Stevens comes home in third. And let's see if we can get a word with our top 3. Wessel, you had a great run all through that first race. One little error set you back, though.
Yeah, it was a mistake on my end. I didn't expect her to brake so early, but I should have maybe kept a little bit more distance to be sure.
All right, you still come home with a podium, and despite not running the full season yet, you are having a great season. It continues here this morning.
Yeah, indeed. It's going quite good, and then let's hope that we have a good race too.
Well, good luck, man. Great finish.
You.
Wessel comes home in third. Adam Barker finishes in second. Adam, right place, right time. You managed to avoid a little chaos to take second.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. I was really struggling to overtake take Wessel. He was doing a really ace job of keeping me behind him. But I was keeping the pressure on him, trying to force him into a mistake, and he I think just misjudged where Nicole was. Tapped Nicole, and then I managed to sail right past.
Well, it definitely worked out. It was obvious you were waiting for that opportunity. It paid off perfectly. Another great finish. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And finally, our winner, Giancarlo. Giancarlo, it looked like you were just out for a Sunday drive this morning.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate to get through turn one unscathed, and then it was just about settling into a hot lapping pace.
You had to have loved it. You had about a 3-second gap until Adam and Wessel started battling, and then your gap really opened up. And it didn't hurt that you were putting down some blistering fast laps.
Yeah, that's always the hope as the leader, to pull out a little bit of gap and then let the folks behind fight and just kind of let the gap keep growing. But as always, this is a longer second race in the middle of the pack, so we'll have to be patient and pick our moments.
Well, it has to be said. I mean, you come into this race second in points, about 39 points behind Adam before drop races are calculated. Are you shooting to pull off another championship here?
Hopefully. I honestly hadn't looked at the standings, but it's good to know that we're in it, and we'll keep battling for the next couple weeks.
Well, great run, great win. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Giancarlo gets the win in race 1. Now on to race 2. Surprisingly, none of the drivers appear to be coming out to practice pit road entry here. That is unusual for a Sunday morning. Usually we see about half the field. Does look like Wessel is rolling out as well as Rudolph. Don't forget tonight, 7:30 Eastern, BRR Cup Series recruitment. Then at 9:30 Eastern, SMR Gen 4 Racing. A lot of great racing to come tonight. The top 7 from race 1 will invert going into race 2. That will put Mike Marshall in his Corvette starting out front. In this McLaren heavy field, definitely the McLarens seem to be the fastest car here this morning. The McLaren's taking 5 of the top 6 spots in race 1. As always, if you have a favorite driver, don't forget to drop in the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for. As here we go, warm-up is over. And on to race number 2. All right, here we go with the... Well, it's supposed to be a top 7 invert, but it looks like something may have gone wrong. Wessel Stevens, Mike Marshall on the front row, Rudolph Gunther, Mike Dolling on the second, Yannick Gunther, Adam Barker have the third row, Giancarlo and Nicole Kriesel on the fourth, Ryan McDaniel and Simon Zierk round out the field. I believe Wessel should be starting about 6th place. Dirk Earhart and Harry Volsmeer, neither one gridding again for race 2. Oh, excuse me. As you can see, the sun is going down, the headlights coming up. Mike Marshall is in control of the start. And here they go. They have immediately fired. Green flag is in the air. And Wessel Stevens gets an amazing start, but Mike Marshall lost a lot of ground. One car appears to have overshot in turn 1. It was Ryan McDaniel. Wessel managed to jump out to about a 0.6 of a second lead. Mike Marshall got caught napping. Mike has dropped back into 3rd. Rudolph down to 2nd. Adam Barker now to 5th. Giancarlo still back in 7th. Simon Zierk quickly picking up a couple of spots into 8th. Ryan went wide in turn 1, and Nicole Kriesel had an off track a moment ago, moving them back to 9th and 10th. Wessel Stevens leads lap 1 at Red Bull Ring. Nicole Kriesel has had a problem back behind. There's Nicole coming down. Just gets a little loose on exit. Has problems getting it turned back around. She eventually gets it going and rolling again, but a heartbreaking start to the race. Wessel out front by 2.4 seconds over Rudolph. Mike Marshall in 3rd. Adam in 4th. Giancarlo comes out of the final turn, moving up into 5th. Simon Zierk also tried to make an attack into turn 1. Giancarlo now up into 5th, closing the gap on Barker. Wessel Stevens set the fastest lap so far last time by. I'm guessing lap times will come down throughout the race due to the nighttime. The track temperature is going to come down. Track temperature currently 66 degrees and air temperature 65. That is definitely going to make these cars a little bit faster. Mike Dolling and Giancarlo battle. Now Yannick gets into it. Almost ended up 3 wide coming through that sector. Wow, gets a little crazy out of that final turn. Now Simon Zierk back in the mix. Mike Dolling fighting back. He's lost some ground here early, but now trying to recover. Meanwhile, Giancarlo, after winning race 1, is back in 5th, but he is closing in on Barker and Marshall. Wessel Stevens continues to set fast laps as he extends his gap over Rudolph Gunther in 2nd. Adam Barker in 3rd, Mike Marshall in 4th, and Giancarlo back in 5th. Can Wessel open up a big enough gap to pull this win off? Mike Marshall side by side with Giancarlo. And Giancarlo now moving up into 4th place. Mike Dolling, Yannick, and Simon still nose to tail, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Giancarlo, meanwhile, has almost caught the back bumper of Adam Barker. Rudolph Gunther just ahead in 2nd, also watching his mirror get brighter and brighter as these 4 cars close in. And Wessel Stevens continues to extend his lead, now 5.5 seconds. Giancarlo did just set the fastest lap so far on his last lap as he charges forward now into 3rd. And all over the bumper of Adam Barker in 2nd. These two battling it out is something we have seen race after race, season after season. And currently, these two are the top 2 in points. So we could see this season come down to these 2 drivers yet again. But there is definitely a driver in the field hoping to get into that battle in a few races. Wessel Stevens currently on track leading the race. Wessel coming into this morning 7th in points. Despite missing 3 weeks already, he will actually move automatically into 6th. Also worth noting that coming into today, remember this season they are doing an amateur and pro division. Mike Marshall currently leading the amateur division by quite a bit. Cody Kennedy came into this morning 2nd in the amateurs. Joshua Mancuso 3rd. Joshua not here today. Actually, Brian McDaniel and Nicole Creasel, both in that amateur division, will make up a lot of ground here today. Wessel Stevens lead 5.8 seconds as Barker has started to close the gap little by little. Wessel's lead still holds about 5.9 seconds, but Barker and Giancarlo closing in, and don't forget they will have to make a pit stop here this morning. Could see a lot of fuel-only stops like we saw last week. With these cooler track and air temperatures, it could make these drivers not have as much tire wear, saving them a little bit of time on pit road. Rudolph Gunther in 4th is pulling a gap on Mike Marshall in 5th, but Mike now has Mike Dolling right there along with Yannick Gunther and Simon Zierk. Remember, Simon had problems in race 1 very early on, but trying to get back into the fight here in race 2. Simon in that lone BMW here this morning. Worth noting that 5 of the top 6 cars right now are the McLaren. Mike Marshall currently sits in 5th in the Corvette. Giancarlo still right on the bumper, so Giancarlo is pushing Barker down the front straightaway. Looks like they are bump drafting their way closer and closer to Wessel. The gap now down to 5 seconds. That battle from about 5th on back, getting tighter and tighter. Mike Marshall, Mike Dolling, Yannick Gunther, Simon Zierk, all right there. Ryan McDaniel back. Ryan has had a problem. He has no headlights. See the view from inside Ryan's car. He's still got enough light, just barely enough light to see what he's doing. This could get interesting as the sun goes down and the race goes on. Gotta hand it to him though, he's sticking it out, trying to make sure that car, limping it to only have to make one stop. See if we can see what happened with Ryan. Coming into, looks like turn one. Oh, overshot. Ouch, hits that outside wall. Loses the entire front clip on the McLaren and no longer has lights. Well, gotta give Ryan credit. He is trying to drive blind. You have to wonder how much longer he can do this, as we just took a look from inside his car, but it is getting later and later, and there are not many lights on this track. It is currently 6:21 p.m. at the track. Meaning, here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, he'll be completely blind out there. Wessel Stevens still has the lead by about 5.4 seconds. Giancarlo in third, right behind Barker. But it does not look like they are pushing nearly as hard as they were a moment ago. Mike Dolling in fourth, Yannick Rudolph and Mike Marshall. Mike Marshall having slipped back now to seventh. Simon Zierk right on his bumper in eighth. Father versus son, and look at the crossover by Yannick. But with H, no! Looks like Nicole Creasel had a problem. Looks like the wisdom of age is going to keep Rudolph in the lead, at least for the moment. Let's see what happened with Nicole, and Mike Dolling also had a problem. There's Nicole Creasel. Just a little too much power, gets loose. Oh, I think she clipped Dolling. She also lost her front lights. Taking a look at Dolling from overhead. Oh no, Dolling got loose in the next turn. And Nicole just barely misses him in the dark. So now two car. No, Nicole has gone to pit road to get the car fixed. Mike Dolling also appears to be on pit road. Now Mike Dolling is officially out of the race. Ryan McDaniel finally coming in to get his repairs done. Yannick Gunther and Mike Marshall have had a problem back behind. There's Yannick in the Porsche. Oh, he got to the inside. Mike Marshall, Simon Zierk, nowhere to go. Yannick, though, may have gotten the worst of that. Hey, good morning, Dazzler. Yep, I saw it, buddy. As it looks like pit stops are underway, Simon Zierk, Mike Marshall, both in. I don't believe Simon got any contact in that incident. He just happens to be in his window. Giancarlo has moved to second and now has the fastest lap. Wessel Stevens' lead is starting to shrink now that Giancarlo is in. Giancarlo moved to second, set the fastest lap, and is now rapidly closing the gap on Wessel. And you can see the difference there in times. Giancarlo just in second, just hammering it down. Almost a second a lap faster last time by. Giancarlo definitely doing everything he can to reel him in as they reach the halfway point. The gap only 3.5 seconds at the moment. Ryan McDaniel is back on track. He has lights. Nicole Kriesel officially out of the race. That moves Ryan now up into 8th place. And Wessel is definitely in trouble. Giancarlo is closing rapidly. The gap now 2.8 seconds. Adam Barker holds on to third, but 2.3 seconds back from the moment Giancarlo took second. He has checked out. Rudolph Gunther now in 4th. Yannick in 5th is closing. Back in Simon in 6th. And Mike Marshall in 7th. The top 5 have not done their pit stops yet. The 6th on back have completed their stop. Giancarlo continuing to chip away at that gap. The gap now just 2 seconds. Last time by, he gained almost a second again on Wessel. Wessel and Giancarlo were the 2 fastest in practice. But Giancarlo was definitely the faster of the 2. Could be a very interesting battle once Giancarlo gets to Wessel's bumper. Wessel also starting to come into lap traffic. And as we know, he had problems with lap traffic in race 1. Oh, Ryan goes way wide. The leader gets by clean. Looked like Ryan overshot the turn. Mike Marshall is in for his stop. Will we see tire changes? No, he is already on his way back out. As Simon Zierk, Mike Marshall did not change tires. We kind of predicted that they likely would not change tires. Due to the cooler air and track temperatures, they'll be able to conserve those tires a lot longer. Although surprisingly, as the sun has set, the track temperature has gone up a couple of degrees. Giancarlo just over a second behind Wessel. He has consistently been a half second or more a lap faster. There you see the lap time. Giancarlo just flying. Giancarlo continuing to get closer and closer to Wessel. Oh, thank you for the raid, Duchess. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is having a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed Dutch's stream. I'm trying to say hi to everybody, but hey, Cold Hand, Dazzy, Lowen, Tina, Pudsey, good morning, everybody. Giancarlo, meanwhile, just caught the back bumper of Wessel. About to see a big battle for the lead. Hey, good morning, Quack. Going good. Good morning, Tina. Oh, Ryan McDaniel has had a problem back behind. Looks like it got a little dusty and Ryan just loses the back end, hits the wall. Did he lose? No, he keeps his lights this time. At least he was able to keep his lights, not having to drive in the dark like earlier. Hope everybody is having a great morning and ready to see a great finish to this race. Our top two nose to tail, and now third place is the top two battle. Third place is getting closer. This thing may get extremely crazy here in a moment. Hop on board with Giancarlo and see what he is seeing right on Wessel's bumper. Wessel moves to the inside for turn one, forces Giancarlo to the outside. You can see those lights do not go very far. Giancarlo setting up for that second turn to the outside. Mike Marshall, lap traffic just ahead. Doing great this morning, Duchess. Thank you so much for the raid. The lap traffic ahead is definitely helping. It's really helping. Third place back behind. Adam Barker is just over 3 seconds behind. He is closing quickly. Good morning, Tomo. The top two continue to bat. Wessel goes wide out of one. Giancarlo now side by side, and Adam coming back into the picture. Wessel trying to fight back. He shoots to the inside. Wow. Giancarlo goes for the crossover out of two. Team Gunther both on pit road. Yannick is in. Rudolph is in. Adam Barker now less than 2 seconds behind the top two as they battle. Hey, good morning, Orchid. Hope everybody is having a great day today as Adam Barker and Wessel Stevens go to pit road. Giancarlo has the lead. Duchess, me too. What are you cooking? Simon Zierk now back in fourth. Team Gunther drops to fifth and sixth. Mike Marshall back in seventh. Ryan McDaniel in eighth, but he still has lights. You'll have to explain the not cooking duck thing. And here we go, the leader is in. Adam Barker now in second, Wessel Stevens in third. Wessel looks like he took tires on pit road, the only driver that did so. Pit stops finally completed. Adam Barker 1 second behind Giancarlo. Wessel now back in third, way behind after the long stop. Barker continuing to close back up onto the leader. Mike Marshall is back on pit road. This is an unexpected stop for him. Remember, the only part of Red Bull Ring lit is the front straightaway. Riding along with the leader as he crosses the start-finish line. He can't even see turn one. Driving at night at some tracks is tricky. This one definitely makes things interesting. Fortunately, a lap car just ahead. Does make it a little easier for him to see where the turns are in advance. And Wessel Stevens is unexpectedly back on pit road. He gets a drive-through penalty. Wessel drops now back to fifth after leading early. Rudolph Gunther also getting closer to a drive-through penalty. The top two have a little leeway, but over the next 12 minutes, anything could happen. Well, Red Bull Ring Chrissy is in Austria. Maybe that... It is a very famous track in Austria. Giancarlo has put a little space between him and Adam. Simon Zierk has made his way quietly up into third. Also, Simon with the least number of off tracks here this morning. Wessel Stevens now back in fifth after the penalty, trying to close the 5-second gap on Yannick in fourth. And Giancarlo, looking at the sweep here this morning, will close the gap in points on Adam Barker just a little bit. Fortunately, Adam has finished second in both races if he can hold on until the end. And if Giancarlo can pull off the win here this morning, that will be his third sweep of the season. And don't forget to tune in tonight, 7:30 Eastern. BRR Cup Series recruitment continues at 9:30 Eastern. SMR Gen 4 also back on track. Giancarlo in lap traffic is allowing Adam to close back up. Simon now 34 seconds back from the leader. Wessel was gaining ground on fourth place Yannick, but that has stopped. Rudolph Gunther back in sixth, Mike Marshall in seventh, Ryan McDaniel holds on to eighth. Adam Barker now stuck behind Mike Marshall. He was gaining on the leader. Marshall's going to move over, let Adam get by. And there is a possibility that we are going to hit the lap limit. I believe the lap limit is at 30 laps. However, a lot of the race setup this morning was a little off. So I don't know if the lap limit was put in place. If it was, they are only about 2.5 laps from the finish. Adam Barker not gaining any ground, holding the gap about 1.8 seconds. Giancarlo has been the fastest car all morning long. And Wessel Stevens, a heartbreaking end to this race after leading early on. Battling with Giancarlo, ended up with a drive-through penalty that has sent him back into fifth. Barker still in second, about 1.5 seconds back, trying to close the gap. And Giancarlo continuing to lay down some very fast laps. The track still has not cooled down, still holding about 66 degrees, despite the sun having gone down. Adam Barker lost a little ground that time. Simon in third. Yannick in fourth, about 3 1/4 seconds back. Wessel in fifth has started closing on Yannick again. Rudolph Gunther back in sixth. Mike Marshall in seventh. Ryan McDaniel in eighth. Mike Doling out of the race early. Nicole, that's what she said. Kriesel also out early. Harry Volsmere and Dirk Earhart did not grid. Giancarlo coming through the final sector. We may see the white flag this time. Mike Marshall has had a problem back behind. There is Mike in the Corvette. You see those brakes glowing. Just on the brakes a tad too much. The car spins out. Looking down from the blimp here in the dark, it looks a bit different. Just that slow little spin. He does recover quickly. Wessel Stevens was gaining on fourth place, but has lost ground. Giancarlo has extended the lead now over Barker to 3 seconds. Simon Zierk back in third, has a safe bubble over Yannick. And Wessel has now lost even more ground. He is about 8.7 seconds back. Mike Marshall having a great finish here this morning, will continue to extend his lead in the amateur division. And Giancarlo chipping away at the overall points lead over Adam Barker. Giancarlo has no more lap traffic, so coming through some of these sectors are blind. Having to drive a lot of this track by memory. And there you see the white flag flies one more time around for Giancarlo. He won race number 1 with the invert, started back in 7th place. fought his way back to the front and has a 5-second lead on second place coming into this one. Simon Zierk back in third, Yannick in fourth, Wessel a heartbreaking end of the day in fifth. Giancarlo just over a mile left to go as Wessel Stevens has had a problem back behind. Wessel has slipped back into sixth place. We'll take a look in a moment. But Giancarlo heads into the final turn for the last time, and he will pull off the sweep this morning at Red Bull Ring. See what happened to Wessel here coming out of the final turn. It looks like Wessel just pulled over. Let's get a quick word with our top three, starting with Simon. Simon, you weren't the fastest, but you were the most consistent with the least amount of off tracks.
Yeah, that was a good race. Let me finish the lap, so...
Well, you come.
Oh yeah, that was a really good race. In the beginning, a lot of fighting with Yannick, Rudolph, and Mike. And then there was a contact with Yannick. So I went to the pits to... I didn't know if I had some damage, so I took the repairs, the fast repair, and yeah, that worked for me. I went out again, 4 seconds ahead of Yannick. And that gave me P4, and then Wessel had some problems, and so I ended up on the podium.
Well, definitely a great day. Consistency pays off again. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Simon coming home in third. Adam Barker comes home in second. Adam, another second place finish, but Giancarlo chipping away at that points lead.
Yeah, Giancarlo's super quick round here. I had no answer to that. I was hoping sort of Wessel might get in his way a little bit. I could see him coming from behind me. Tried to get a little bit of a lead on him, but it just wasn't enough. I kept getting caught with the traffic trying to overtake them as well, and he was just super quick, playing with me towards the end when he was trying to overtake and hunting Wessel down. I was quite fortunate. They were really fighting each other, so brought me back into contention a little bit. And then Wessel had an issue in the pits. I'm not quite sure what happened, but when I came out of the pits, I was something like 8 seconds ahead of him. So then it was just keeping the incidents down, trying to stay on the track and keep second.
Well, you managed to get it done once again, holding on to the podium. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And finally, our winner, another sweep, Giancarlo. Giancarlo, you sweep again for the third time this season, I do believe.
Yeah, that was a great race. That was a lot of fun battling, side-by-side action at the start, towards the end. A very entertaining drive.
You definitely had a great race this morning, and the sweep definitely pulls you a little bit closer to that championship.
Yeah, I gotta check the standings, see how competitive it is, but I think there's only a handful of races left, so we're almost there.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting finish to the season. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Don't forget tonight to tune in at 7:30 Eastern. BRR Recruitment is back. SMR Gen 4 at 9:30. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you tonight.